and gentlemen, you're tuning in to Critical Lens, Chicano Perspective, and the Liberty Project. And I'm so proud and glad to have this super guest, Father Ernesto Medina. And Father has agreed to be on my show. He's blessed me and honored me with his presence. He has so much to talk about. He has a very, very unique history that he wants to hopefully talk about to us here today. And so that we can have a discussion about his life and the impact that it's had on his life and the communities that he's touched and the peoples that he's touched with his many. And he right now is the chairman of the board of the Latino Center of the Midlands of the Millions.
I wish it was the Millions.
And they just got off of a very, very good fundraising thing, Destino dinner, and you'll talk a little bit about that. And then, but he's also the head priest at a Episcopalian church in Millard, Nebraska, which has its issues too, which you'll talk about. But Father Medina, I want to thank you so much for honoring me with your presence.
Well, the honor is mine. On a selfish note, I really wanted to be on here with you because I cannot type fast enough. Okay. When you're on the air and I just want to I start shouting and get so excited because I want to say things. And so now we can talk and share some ideas. And I thank you. And the other thing I want to say before we start is I really want to thank you. I had a pretty easy road going to college. Got a full scholarship to UC San Diego. And the reason I want to say thank you is that road would not have happened if it wasn't for people like you. Because I know you fought the fight so that would happen for me. So I have great respect for you and great love for you. And so thank you for allowing me to be here with you.
That's very kind of you. We didn't really know what we were getting into and what the residual effects would be. We are lucky to have a young man, I don't know if you know him, Raul Alvarez. He's out of Lincoln. He was part of the LA high school walkout, and he lives here in Lincoln. So he's creating a LULAC over there in Lincoln. But he brings a lot of that whatever struggle they went through. And it did result in some very positive things, like providing scholarships and stuff. But I'm anxious to see where you think that we're at today. So, but tell me a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your journey, and how you came to Omaha, and how your experience has been. Hello, Floyd. How are you, mijo? My cousin, Abel Santos.
Nice.
Abel's from Lincoln. Floyd, I think he's from Arizona or somewhere. He's Native American, part of my but he's a good guy. Yeah. So, go ahead, Doc.
Yeah. So let me share with you. I'm going to say either I'm going to get in trouble or both of us are going to get in trouble because I am not going to be politically correct.
That's right.
This
you've come to the right place.
Life's too short. I am the oldest of 4 boys. We grew up in San Diego, 2-bedroom house. It was interesting. I was going to be the first one that went off to university. And I actually had a scholarship to Stanford. And my mom said to me, "Why do you have to go out? What's wrong? Why do you have to leave?" And the only thing I could say to my mother is, I share a bedroom with my 3 brothers. And so I need a place to study. And there's actually more reasons, but that's the only one I could come up with. And so I have to go because I need my own room. So my parents, within 6 months, added on rooms to the house. And so I stayed. They didn't want me to go. And I find this to be actually one of the dynamics with kids that are parents come and they just want to offer the best for a better life. And I fought this when I was in LA. I had these 4.0 students, and yet they wouldn't fill out FAFSAs, and it was very frustrating. So I understand the dynamic. I do have to say that there were 4 boys. So when they added the other rooms, they added another bathroom. And my mom said that the first bathroom was for the girls. Okay. And the other one was for the boys. And that's kept alive. I had a great education at UC San Diego, so no regrets about not going to Stanford. And at the same time, I think I shared with you that I was a whale trainer at SeaWorld in San Diego. So I rode Shamu. Now I look like Shamu, but I was SeaWorld. I was a skinny guy then.
You rode Shamu?
I rode Shamu. Yeah.
Hello, Susie. How are you, man?
Yeah. And it was good. It was easy for me. And again, that it was easy for me to work full time, go to school full time. I didn't have to work, but I was riding killer whales. But all of that was easy because the Chicano movement had done what it did in California. An interesting trivia. Cesar Chavez and part of that walkout movement that we were talking about before, all that, the original meetings were held in the basement of Epiphany Episcopal Church in East LA.
No.
Yeah.
Epiphany
Episcopal Church. Yeah. In East LA. So the Episcopal Diocese of Los Angeles has, we're pretty proud of that. We're pretty proud of that and kind of ongoing relationships with the history. At some point, the thought about becoming a priest, I'd always thought about becoming a priest because I went to Roman Catholic Church.
Hi, Bonnie. How are you?
But it was always funny because I like girls, and anyways, I at 16 I started dating somebody, and she went to the Episcopal Church, and I went with her, and because I wanted to make points, and I liked it, and the priest could get married, so that started that journey. So at 24 years old, I went off to seminary up in Berkeley. And I have not that wife, but another wife now, Susan, who I love dearly. We have our kids that are, we're empty nesters. And we moved to, I was the dean of the cathedral, the provost of the cathedral of Los Angeles, which was a very significant position. The majority of my congregation was from the Spanish-speaking. I had a Spanish-speaking community, an English-speaking community, and a Korean-speaking community. I had an associate for the Korean community. The Spanish-speaking was the largest. Most of them were undocumented. I wanted to have a Thanksgiving dinner, and so I said, everyone bring your guajolotes, for the thing. And then I got almost laughed out. Because it seems like every country in Latin America has a different word for turkey. So we came to the understanding
that... What did you call it?
Guajolote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everyone else, so we agreed on turkey. Turkey would be the thing. And they also forgave me because I was so nervous at the first service that I did in Spanish. And my Spanish is not good. I mean, I can hold my own. I can preach now. But I never went to school for it, right? So that first Sunday, I forgave their fish. Instead of their pecados, I forgave their pescados. So, so that's just who I am.
Instead of their
pecados, I forgave their pescados.
But now, what is a pavo?
A pavo is a chicken.
Oh, okay.
No, is that right?
I don't know.
I don't know. So that's beyond my pay grade. Okay. But people tell me that. I can just Google it. We can find that. Or is it a dead chicken? Or one's a live chicken. There's a word for it. Anyways.
Well, I'm just still dealing with the guajolote.
Yeah. Isn't that the right word? What do you call it? I just
you're talking to the wrong guy.
I remember going to Argentina and I couldn't even get a steak because they cut their meat. They cut their cows different. There's no T-bone steaks. I don't know what Anyways, this is part of the wonderfulness of being Latino, right? But I do want to talk about being Mexican because that's a different. That's a different thing.
Okay, so you're the bishop or whatever?
No, the dean of the cathedral.
The dean of the cathedral.
Actually, the first Latino to be in charge of a cathedral in the entire history of the Anglican Church.
And that's Los Angeles.
That was in Los Angeles, yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
That is really something.
Yeah, so when the kids, we were going to become empty nesters, and Susan and I realized that there was nothing holding us there, and there's a whole world, and so we kind of went open, and we came to Omaha with a 3-year non-renewable contract. It was just something crazy, and then we'd finish 3 years here, we'd go. The problem is that we fell in love with it here.
No.
you know, and we knew 2 weeks into being here that we had moved home. And do you know you can teach kids to drive on a road that has no other cars?
I got you.
It's like, you know, that is so, you know, in LA, the third time you take your kid out, it's learning how to drive the freeway. It's like, this is like that was the big cultural shock for me.
Yes. Yeah. I know what you mean, because after spending almost 15 years in Chicago,
Right.
you know, it is just crazy.
Right.
Of course, I was born and raised here, but coming back to Omaha was like a godsend. It was just so, you go from one place to the other in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Over there, it took you for one mile.
Yeah.
It took you an hour and 50 minutes.
Right.
So, no, it's great. Omaha's a great
place.
Great place.
Here's the reason I got involved with the Latino Center of the Midlands. This is the truth. No one's ever heard this, so it's kind of fun.
Hold on.
So
Drum roll.
So they had flown me out from LA to kind of, you know, song and dance. You know, what is it? Wine and dine me.
Wine and dine. No, song and dance
yeah,
too.
Song and dance. Me to show me how wonderful it was here. And they didn't know that I already wanted to come. And so, of course, okay, not politically incorrect. They wanted to show me South Omaha to be with my people, right?
Oh, indubitably.
So, yeah. So we go down 24th, and I see over in La Plaza, over there, there's a big event. And there are TV cameras, news cameras, and there's like, well, I am a TV hound or TV hog. And I said to my host, stop the car.
I want to get out.
Because I want to be on camera. It's not I don't want to get out. I'm going to be on camera because I know how to do sound bites. Next thing I know, it took me 2 minutes, and they got that camera on me, and they're interviewing me. Oh. And the people from the church are like, who are you?
Yeah, who is this
And that's when the executive director of Latino Center was like, who are you? And we introduced myself. She goes, you know, when you move here, you're going on the board.
Now, who's that?
That would have been Rebecca.
Rebecca,
yeah.
Okay.
Back in that long time ago. Okay. Anyway, so that was my first entree with the
Very good.
Latino Center. And anyways,
you hit town with a smash.
That's it. That was just crazy. That's just crazy. I'm a professional soundbiter. So.
Okay, so now you've done wonders at the center, and I know I've had my my disagreements, but I think it's just that. It's just a misunderstanding between me and some of the people that have come after me. Not after me in terms of coming after me,
right.
but after my presence.
Right.
Not knowing my history and stuff. So, but I have like a theory now on the monolith. Mm-hmm. But I've always made a separate distinction between my love for the center, the thing that I helped create, and the way it's been taken over and nourished and brought to where it is now, which is a very good place in my mind. Now, in your opinion, what is the condition of the center, and what do you see in the future for the center?
Oh my goodness. Let me back up just a little bit. Shortly after I got with the center, and I think we had a conversation. I remember I kind of barged in on one of your meetings at the library. And there was great concern from what I call the veteranos. It's not the veterans from military, but it's the ones that actually started it, right? The ones that have been tried and true.
With the Chicano Awareness Center.
With the Chicano Awareness Center. And my recognition as a board member is that we had forgotten to pay respect to those folks. So I went to the meeting even though I knew that I was going to be killed. You know, it was not going to be a happy meeting.
At the board.
At the meeting at the library with with our friends.
Okay.
The center at that point was about to close down. I mean, we were seriously, as a board member, we're really thinking about, because it was bad. We were going into reserves really fast, and I think we were dealing with an annual budget of $300,000 or something like that. And we just made some decisions, and it's now exciting. We are now with a budget above $1.2 million. This Pathways to Success program, where we years ago, I think this was with, we've been doing this for a long time, but there is an issue with Latino students that for whatever reasons they stop going to school, and there's a number that if you pass that number, you become a truant, then you go into the court system. So we were being referred. I don't know how we started it, but we were starting getting referred kids that had missed 20 days. 20 days of school before the court intervention. That program has grown incredibly. Here's an amazing number. Here's where we are. I think we're like in 7 schools now. Last year, 100% of the students that we began a relationship with, who were not going to school for a variety of reasons more than 20 days, 100% of them graduated high school.
Fantastic.
I mean,
Fantastic.
who does that? I mean, really?
No.
Who does that?
Did you blow your horn?
Well, I'm trying to do it right now.
Okay, he's blowing his horn.
I mean, now we didn't do as well.
Hi, Sal. My compadre.
Yeah.
He's out of there from New Mexico.
Oh, that's why I love New Mexico.
He's a Semper Fi. He's
Yeah.
a blue, Purple Heart from Vietnam, and he's old like me. So go ahead. 100%.
100%. Now, we didn't do as good this year. It's 95%.
Oh no! I got it.
It's like
I got 95%.
I mean,
Now you're saying that 100% went all the way through.
they graduated high school
Oh boy!
from 20 days not being in school. I mean,
What do you call that? The pathway to success?
Pathway to Success program. Wow. And out of that comes out of these leadership development classes for young men and young women. So it's just incredible. And the staff is beyond. I mean, they are so committed. And then there's the adult education programs, with English because now you have these kids that are doing really well. We have great relationships with the high schools, particularly South High with Ruben Cano. And, South High is the number one feeder for UNO students. So it's just really exciting. So now you have these kids that are doing well. The parents, I'm just making this up, they get jealous. Right? So we now have very successful programs that we worked out programs with Metro Community College, where they're taking English as English classes, basic computer literacy, and they get involved. There's preparation courses, and they get into GED programs, and they're passing, and they get their GED.
Fantastic. Let me ask you, because I know there's some heavy subjects, but this is good.
Yeah.
One of the issues was the high school dropout rate, of
Right.
course, at the school, and then their being unable to score high on the tests.
Right.
Now, do they personally, or they come physically to your establishment and where you tutor them and stuff, or and what has been your success with respect to impacting the graduation rate among, I guess, Latinos? I don't know.
Right. So I can speak to. So it's we have people that are going. We have staff members that are going to the schools.
Okay.
So they're meeting with these kids on a very regular basis. They do their in-staff training at the office, but they're on the field. That's where they work. We actually were having that discussion at our board meeting about trying to figure out. So we have the success rate in terms of graduating for the kids that we're working with, right, who are Latino, right? We welcome everyone, but that's the primary. We're in schools that there's a higher percentage of Latino students. But the data that so it's not so much like who got, we know how many are graduating from high school, but they're off going to college too, or some sort of vocational school, and so that's the data that we have to collect. And we have board members that actually specialize.
And you have data. You have that.
We're collecting it. Because because
no, you have to record.
I mean, we're all okay.
Right.
This is kind of the vision. You said where we're going. I at the Destino dinner, one of the things.
Sorry, I missed it. By the way.
Yeah, I know. That will be fixed. That will never happen. Well, because we sold out 2 weeks before the event.
Before I got to the ticket,
right?
To the ticket thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir. We're all okay.
When we talk about, so I want to do the present and then future. What's fascinating to me is that when you look at in Omaha, the impact Latino community has had here, we are fully integrated in the leadership, educationally, medically, civically, financially. It is not like that in LA.
Right.
So what's so special, right?
Right.
What is so special?
Right.
I mean, from the religious standpoint, why is it in Omaha the only place in the world that we can have a synagogue, a mosque, and a church on the same property, right? So there's something special about here. So that's the reality of today, right? Fully integrated. Part of the challenge that I think that we have had historically, right, and the misunderstanding is because you use the phrase, we need to speak truth to power, right?
A strange concept.
Right. But what happens when now we're the power?
Yeah, no, that's
right. I mean, that's so what so we're just like, so you're telling me to speak to myself because, you know, we actually made it because of the work you did, right?
Okay.
So now we're in it.
Okay, you're there.
Right.
No, you hit it. You hit the I say you hit the golden spike.
Right.
Very good. Now let me say something.
Okay.
That's my message. That my message is that at some point you got to the level where you're actually going to be the leaders.
Right.
You're actually going to be the people that fill these positions and manifest society within your own group. And that whatever has happened here, and I think it's due to your leadership and others also, is that you're now taking your proper place in society and not thinking as a minority anymore.
Oh, yeah.
You're thinking as
golden spike.
Yes.
I'm going to do that too.
You're thinking as somebody who now has greater responsibility. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're an American now. You're an American now. See, as an American, you have certain duties pursuant to the Constitution. One of it is to run your civic duty, your society, and what have you. And that's where we're stepping up, and that's what you're helping with that next level that must, and by demographics, take over. And you've done a wonderful job. But that's it. You just hit it. Don't speak as a minority. Well, I'm not saying you don't speak, but we need to start speaking as in charge. And what are we going to do for our future, and for the future of our city? Because now we have to step up to the plate. Nobody's gonna say, "Come on, no." Right. You have to deduce that, and that's what you've done.
So let me give a little bit of a challenge to that. I am agreeing with you, but I'm just going to challenge, and again, I'm going to get myself in trouble. And this is one of the things that happened in your last webcast, where I was going, Aldo, I need to say something to you. Part of the problem that I think that we have to be accountable for, and this is, I mean, I really do get in trouble for this, is that oftentimes when we've reached the goal, we forgot who we are. And so we become, like my mother would say, chocantes. And so then we just become like whatever the monolith that you talk about, whatever the rules of the monolith are. For me, the challenge for us is part of truth-telling. There are some things among our community that are difficult, but they're not politically cool to say. The system of the monolith has siloed the Latino community. So we can be coming into power. So we can either get comfortable with that. But one of the things we have to look at is the system says you all have to fight among each other for the resources.
Another golden spike.
Right. Instead of, so we need to figure out, that's not our rule. That's not the way we've been brought up. So why don't we return to the rememory, right? The remembrance, and maybe start working together. I mean, there's a concept, huh?
Well, no, but you hit another golden spike. And let me see if what I say makes sense to you. Part of the America, and it's the way we look at a country of immigrants. Okay, it's crucial that we not have one group superior to the other. Okay, but then the problem becomes, well, how do you take this society like the monolith, and how do you engage yourself as an American and identify yourself as an American of whatever descent?
Right.
Okay, so now that becomes a challenge that you cannot you cannot approach without dealing with the monolith. Now, I'm going to, where are we at, Michael? We're going to go ahead. Now, we're going to, him and I, this gentleman and I, are going to keep talking on live stream, but because we're also recording for my cable television program that airs every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock on Channel 22 and 89. We're going to go ahead and cut this off in just on the recording basis, but you and I are still going to keep talking.
Yeah.
Michael will give me the I'm going to cut you off sign, but you and I will keep talking. Now you hit a very, 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 and I think that we're together. I'm not sure.
No, I know we are.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we are.
So how do we manifest that? How do you, within your sphere of influence, how do you manifest it so that you're now looking at individual groups that are American? So you start with what I consider, I shed myself even of my Chicanismo, that I am now an American of Mexican descent, having been enlightened by the Chicano movement, but I'm 100% American.
Right.
And once I do that, there's nobody above me. And I don't talk down to myself.